the mayor is trying to do what she can do and get people off the street, but she's trying her best to get these homeless off the street. Nothing's happened yet. I haven't heard anything yet, but she's trying.
To address the city of San Francisco's need for more shelter, in October 2018, Mayor Breed created a bold initiative to open 1,000 new shelter beds by 2020. The local Homeless Coordinating Board supports the mayor's vision of expanding upon those existing shelter response systems.
So they just, they're at the beginning stage of where it went to the Port Commission, and so, and they got approval there, so they're kind of at the beginning stage.
Oh, well, the Barcadero Station shelter that's going to be nearby, yes, I'm in favor. We have a homeless epidemic in the city. It's really bad. People aren't being taken care of the way they need to be. It's been going on for decades in most of the inner cities in the United States, and San Francisco in particular has actually spent a lot of money on it and hasn't solved the problem. So it's the same old, and we just have to keep building more shelters until we reach the point where capacity is equal to the amount of homeless individuals living on our streets.
And we're, with the Coalition on Homelessness, we're supportive of new resources in general because we so deeply need resources for folks who are forced to sleep on the street. So we're very in favor of opening more navigation centers or other resources. Actually, housing is preferable, but in the meantime, we need to do all different levels of housing and supportive services.
I mean, some of these warehouses that are around here can be turned into a shelter. But one time there was a shelter down there, and they had barbed wire around it and a security guard. What kind of shelter is that if you have barbed wire around the area and a security guard? It's like going into jail.
The same challenge that we have every time we try and open up any new resources to help folks who are experiencing homelessness. There's always pushback no matter what neighborhood you're in. We always hear the same thing, you know, we're really supportive, but not in our neighborhood. And that you hear in every neighborhood. That is the status quo. So that is a huge obstacle. I would say even more so than for like a shelter than the funding for it, because they have funding for it, and we see major pushback from the community, which we saw in other locations. We saw that in the Mission. We saw that in the Dog Patch. But those two neighborhoods, after they had the navigation center that opened up, the folks in the community became supportive because they saw that it was actually helpful to everyone in the community.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm good out here. I got fresh air and I got people around me sometimes to watch my back. I mean, the shelters are not bad, but they're just all full all the time. You got to be in a certain place at a certain time to get a bed or whatever. If you're not there, then you're out of luck.
Some of the concerns from advocates and others is where we're hearing about with like a safe zone. So we know that that's going to be followed up with more enforcement, and that this area is now going to be off limits. We've seen this in other areas. We saw it in the Mission. We saw it spreading around. So the implementation of this much needed resource is where there are many concerns there. But at the same time, we do need more resources and more shelter.
Well, I mean, if they're going to build shelters, they should have like tables and chairs and a TV so people can, in the daytime, they don't have to be out in the sun. They can go and watch some TV or play cards or play checkers or whatever they got to do just to get out of the sun for a while.
We hope the navigation center provides real housing to begin with. But besides all that, we also want to be low barrier so people can get in quickly. When people see an outreach counselor on the sidewalk while they're experiencing homelessness, to be interviewed, be brought to the spot, to be given a hot meal right there and then, start their paperwork, give them food before you even start doing the paperwork. Do things that like you would do if you wanted to restore dignity. People living out on the streets, the first thing they think of when they get in a shelter probably is like, how do I keep the shelter? What are the things that are going to get in the way? They're going to have it be taken away. These are the reasons why people are stressed out in the shelters and feel like they're unsafe. What you really need to do is you need to make people feel as comfortable as possible. And do that by simple things, sharing a meal with them the first time you see them, giving them an extra blanket if they ask for it, giving them a lock so they can lock their possessions. So what I would like to see at any shelter is just dignity, reaffirming, restoring dignity, creating dignity, bringing back the person's soul and making them not feel like they're stressed out individuals just trying to survive but thrive in this world.